My name is Andrea Jones. I'm making this video to tell you all that my job is setting me up with the Ku Klux Klan. I have a little boy named Melbourne Halo Metter that was stolen from me by his father, Austin Metter, and Austin Metter's mother, Cynthia O'Vera. And my job is setting me up for the Ku Klux Klan here in Texas so that a group of racist whites can have custody of my child and rape my child. Cynthia O'Vera told me that she was raping my child from 22 months old. Austin Metter, the father, was abusing me, and I am pregnant by him, and they've been abusing me, trying to murder my baby and me for protecting myself from Austin Metter. So they've been having me sleeping outside and denying me into women's shelters. They've been doing this operation for a very long time. I have recently been employed at the Macy's in the Galleria Mall here in Houston, Texas, and they hired me as a barista. So on Friday, I got paid on this pay card. It was $180. And they did an operation to send me home on Friday, the day that I was supposed to receive a full shift. I've been being paid $15 an hour. And they're following me around in thousands of cars, trying to stage to have me outside. And I have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. They're trying to paint me out as if I'm a bum on the streets for Austin Metter to portray himself a certain way in the country with his mother, Cynthia O'Vera, and they told me that they were gang raping my child for me shooting Austin Metter in the leg in self-defense. So the charges against me were dropped, and they have been working with these racist white gangs and some black gangs, Hispanic gangs, Asian gangs, to stage to have me sleeping outside at bus stops, and I am with child, and they've been trying to kill the baby and say that I was never pregnant and that Austin was not abusing me pregnant. This is what the multi-million-dollar lawsuit is about. So I spoke with two women on my job, one woman named Lanice, one woman named Talisha, and they were telling me that they were homeless. Lanice was telling me that she was staying with somebody. Talisha was telling me that she had a hotel room where she was staying with her children. And I had told them, I said, well, I'm actually homeless now, so where I'm having to sleep outside. And I told them about the lawsuit. I told them that I was pregnant, that I was high risk, and that I needed the job. And I had recently made the 180, and I found a place called the Texas Inn on Airline Road here in Houston, Texas. And I told people, that I would be able to afford the weekly rate there. So I had some donations with $180 from my check, and I went out to the Texas Inn Friday. And when I went up there, they were following me in thousands of cars. On the way there, they were working with the Metro bus, public transportation, to do operations with people on the bus to try to stop me from getting to my locations in a timely manner when I'm on the public transportation. So I knew that they were plotting and following me when I was on my way to get the weekly hotel. So when I went to the hotel, the lady, it was late at night because I worked Friday, and Eder is a young white male. He said Andrea Christian, he's a young white male who's supposedly the manager over the shifts, and y'all know how racism works. They all work together for an agenda against blacks, and as you can see, my skin is brown. And so I was like, he was like, I want to send you home. He went and walked off and got on the phone with Christian. And I was on the shift with Talisha and a white woman named Kim and a white male named Eder. And it was like, oh, they were there already. So rightfully it would be to send one of them home. So Talisha went home, and before she went home, Eder walked off and got on the phone with Christian, and he was like, well, Christian says that we don't have enough hours, so can we send you home? And I was like, why are you sending me home? And this was after I told Talisha and Lanice my situation. So I was excited that I wouldn't have to be on the streets, and I told my baby, my child that I'm carrying, I said, you know what, I said, we're not going to have to be on the streets no more. I said, Mama going to make sure that we don't have to go around begging nobody for anything. I said, we got enough money for this weekly. It'll last me, because Friday to Friday, I was like, going to get the room Saturday morning, really. And then I was going to let that hold me over until I got my paycheck Friday, because they pay us every week. And with $15 an hour, I already calculated the 12 hours a week, that's $180. I'll be able to get the other $20 for the weekly rate, because the Texas Inn, they have a very cheap weekly rate where it was just $180 for the week, and then plus tax, it was $210. So I was telling my child that I'm carrying, I was like, we're not going to have to keep going around begging people for money. We ain't finna spend another night outside. Mama got the money for the weekly rate, and we going to be good from there, because then I'll be getting paid after that week is up, and I just keep paying her until I get us into somewhere more permanent. And when I went to work, Eder was on the phone with Christian, and he came to me. He was saying, we want to send you home early. We don't have the hours. And I was like, I'm not comfortable with y'all doing that, because I was already scheduled. And that would be my money for the next week for our motel. And so he said, well, would you be comfortable just doing a couple of hours and going home? And I was like, I'll do that, because then I was like, I'll just go get the room early, because my shift was scheduled from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. and it takes me an hour and 30 minutes to get across town to this hotel on 2 buses. So I was like, you know what, let me just go to the hotel early, and so I can get us checked in, so we don't have to sleep outside tonight, because we were going to sleep outside Friday night. And then Saturday, I was going to go and get the room. She doesn't allow anybody to check in until after 5 p.m. anyway. So I was like, okay, let me just go early to the hotel and check in. So Friday, when I went to the motel, I left work probably around like 7 p.m. was when I actually left the premises. And I got on the bus, and I rode 2 buses over there. They were following me over there, and thousands of cars, blacks, and trying to do an operation with racist whites against me. And so when I got to the motel, when I went to the window, the sign was up on the glass that she speaks through, telling about the weekly rates. And I've stayed there 2 times, but I just stayed for a few days. So it's a white woman there, and I said, I want to get the room for a week. She said, I don't have any rooms for the week. And I looked at her like, what's going on? And she said, I don't have a room to give you for the week. And I said, but you have rooms available, but you're telling me that I can't pay for the weekly rate? She said, I don't have any weekly rooms available. Only the ones upstairs are for the weekly rate. She said, but I have a regular room. And I said, how long can I pay for that room? She said, you can pay for as long as you want, but you have to pay the $46 a night. You can't get the weekly rate. So I had the $210. I said, ma'am, I am pregnant, and I saved up the money for this weekly rate. And she was like, you can just go somewhere else. And I was like, what do you mean I can just go somewhere else in the middle of the night? And I needed to lie down. I had been working. I came 2 hours across town, and she was like, you can just go somewhere else, like, very racist. And I said, why would you speak to me that way and tell me I need to go somewhere else just because I'm questioning you about what you're advertising? And I said, ma'am, no, I don't need to go anywhere else in the middle of the night. I said, I'm looking at you like that because I'm trying to understand why you have this big sign right here in my face advertising the weekly rate, but then you're telling me you won't give it to me. And I said, I've been seeing this sign right here every time I come up here, so I figured that you have a weekly rate. And I said, so that's why I'm confused about why you won't give me the weekly rate. Because they're trying to literally humiliate me as a black woman and have me outside. And what they're doing is they're swarming around me in thousands of cars when they have me sleeping outside. They're all swarming around me, trying to intimidate me and start altercations with me while I'm lying down outside. And so she was like, well, you can pay for it for the night and just keep paying for each night. And I said, are you the manager? And she said, no, I'm not. I said, are you the owner? She said, no, I'm not. And I said, when will the owner be here? And she said, in the morning. I said, okay. So it was getting cold. I had to get rid of all of my blankets that I had because I didn't want to be bringing big comforters into my job. And I told my child, I said, I'm not going to have to keep sleeping outside. I have the money to have us off of the streets, and I have a job. So the women's shelters, they have them staging us outside for this operation, the Star of Hope, the Salvation Army, the Houston Area Women's Center, and the Holy Spirit specifically told me that Joe O'Vera said he was raping your child from 22 months old. He told you that he was raping your child. So you are being set up by the women's shelters. He said the women's shelters and her family are doing this operation with these racist whites to stage you outside. So I already know that I can't depend on the women's shelters to help me, because anytime a white person has stolen a black woman's child to be raping her child, they're not going to stand behind that mother and allow me to be in a shelter where I can request my son. I have already filed several police reports on Joe O'Vera, Cynthia O'Vera, and Austin Metter. I've called CPS. It's all over the internet. It's thousands of videos of me as a mother telling that these people have been raping my child. But yet they just continue to keep trying to set me up. And he's a mixed race, light-skinned little boy. And they are continuing to try to abuse my body with a baby in me. So where I am right now, is just somewhere where I stayed the night. This person is not offering me a home temporarily or permanently. So I need to let y'all know what's going on. And so I paid for the room for like 4 nights, and they were riding around with the Houston Fire Department, doing operations with them all around the room to try to starve me. They didn't put my food stamps on there the day that I had to leave the motel on the 9th. So I left the motel on the 9th without any food stamps or without any money left on my pay card, and I did not have any cash. And I had to go around asking people for money. And my paycheck this week, I was supposed to work. Talisha told me on Friday, so when they were sending me home on Friday, I was like, nah, people don't need to be messing with my checks, Talisha. And Talisha was like, oh, well, that's normal. You shouldn't even be getting any hours. So she's involved with setting me up. She was like, oh, you shouldn't even be getting any hours because you're new. And Eder is involved with setting me up. He was like, we got a new person here, another person, and they're not getting any hours. He was like, you're lucky you getting anything. No, I'm lucky I'm getting nothing, Eder. And they said they was gang raping my child. I need my motherfucking money, and I'm not motherfucking playing with y'all about my motherfucking check, and I'm not playing about my child. So don't sit over there and fucking plot on my little $15 an hour. So first of all, the 12 hours, if you calculate that, that's 180. So now this morning, so Talisha told me, she was like, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday you work. So today is Wednesday. I checked the schedule, and Christian doesn't have me on the schedule at all. Not at all. And Eder was like, oh, well, Christian said he gonna call you tonight or tomorrow. He never called. He didn't call me Friday. He did not call me Saturday. And the citizens of Houston was all sitting around following me around in their cars. They followed me the whole day yesterday when I had to go out and get donations. I'm trying to have us enough money so we'll have food and so that we can get into this room. I will have to get another room, and this room is a little more expensive. But once I was supposed to get my paycheck this week, because they pay me once a week. So Friday, I was supposed to get, today is Wednesday, Friday, I was supposed to get the money from today and tomorrow. And at least that would have been, or whatever I worked last week, I don't know how the pay period go. Friday, Wednesday, and today I believe something would have came on my card to where I can put it with what I've been trying to save to make sure that we can get into a weekly motel. And when I went to look at the schedule, they tried to violate me, saying I clocked out late, or that I clocked out early on the day that they told me to go home. So I agreed to the little violation that, yeah, maybe I clocked out a little late. And yes, I was sent home because of a schedule change. And then when I went to look at the schedule, Christian didn't have me on the schedule at all. And so I was telling the person who house I'm in now, I was like, this is the operation they doing because of my multi-million-dollar lawsuit and my baby that I told y'all about, my baby daddy. They're doing this for them. So my cell phone is actually off right now, but I'm still recording to let y'all know what is going on. So basically, they didn't put me on the schedule at all, which is violating me because you trying to have me walking around with a pay card. First of all, they was calling me lazy, and God said, no, Andrea is not lazy. So now that I had a job, you want to try to play with me. And they got these people up there plotting on me, these little employees up there trying to feed me some bullshit against the Most High, trying to feed me some bullshit, talking about, oh, well, if you get more hours than us, we'll be mad. We're not getting any hours. I don't give a fuck about how many hours you're getting. That's not my concern. Are you homeless on the street? Are you expecting a lawsuit about a pregnancy? Are you trying to get a little boy that people said that was gang raping? So don't worry about how many hours I'm getting. So they also have had me begging around the food court, telling people my situation and that I was hungry and that I needed food. So how you got a woman working in your facility and you letting this lady ask around for donations instead of just giving her the fucking hours so she can work for the money? So now they want to try to paint it like they don't have any hours. They talking about, oh, Macy's hired you, and we was hired through a separate company. So now you can't get any hours. So they just setting me up. That's all it is. And they sat around driving around all day. Thousands of them setting me up. They got all these establishments trying to set me up, and they just keep trying to extort me out of all of my money, and then trying to pretend like nobody in the country can help us. And then they're just literally trying to stage me outside on the street. So now it's getting to the point where this is getting too serious because y'all said y'all was raping my child. So a whole bunch of people said they was raping him. So this is all the money that I have, and this is not from my job. This is from me asking for help, and it's only like $100 and something. So my phone is off, and the guy was telling me when the man sent me home, he was like, she'll just end up having to get another job. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you'll just end up having to go and get hired somewhere else. But I haven't even posted on my channels that I got hired here because I've been so busy trying to make sure that I had uniform and, went through the training and that I adjusted my life for the position. And then I told myself yesterday, I said, Andrea, you shouldn't have told Lanice and Talisha that you was homeless. You shouldn't have told them about the baby. You shouldn't have told them about the lawsuit. You shouldn't have told them, because then immediately the next day that I come into my shift, they over here sending me home from my shift. And then now they're not putting any hours on the schedule for me. And I know that it's not a coincidence. It's bullshit. So this person is telling me that they finna have company tomorrow, and if I don't have somewhere to stay, they might let me stay tomorrow. But basically, they sitting over here trying to stage me, continue to try to set me up outside, to where they trying to have me sleeping at bus stops where they can all bother me and just swarm around me, and to where I can't go in court and actually press charges on these people for raping my child, because the police department is covering for them and trying to say that that it's a custody thing, that we can't arrest somebody for raping your baby because they have custody of him. Since when does somebody have custody of somebody's child give them the right to rape somebody's child? And they said they were heinously raping my child. A little boy can't take all that. And so God was showing me that it's a possibility that my child can be dead from rape. And that I don't even know if my little boy is alive. But the main thing that I feel that people are trying to do is abuse my body to try to cover up the information about the pregnancy. And I'm just very disappointed in Macy's. They were already doing operations in the Macy's. I used to come inside of the Macy's when I was unemployed. Go in the restroom and do my hair or I would do my makeup, really just my makeup, and they would have the Macy's employees, the women coming in there knowing I was famous, coming in there and trying to spy on me for the KKK inside of the ladies' restroom. So when I got hired there, I was like, well, at least they did a good thing and hired me so that you can help me instead of trying to come in the restroom and set me up for the KKK. And when people see that you making ends meet with the little money that you got, then they want to try to cut off the little money that you got. So they're trying to set me up to where they're trying to make it seem like I don't have any income. And then they're trying to humiliate me and defame me by trying to have me walking around begging people for money. And then it's like this woman is saying that you raped her child all over the internet. But if y'all know anything about the KKK, then you know about the Illuminati. And I told Lanice, I said, Lanice, it's the Illuminati. And I told Talisha, it's the Illuminati. And they are racist. And Lanice was over there talking about, well, you got to keep your faith in God and don't say nothing about don't keep your mind focused on Illuminati. Just let God, help you. And so they be listening to Illuminati. They listening to everything. And I told myself, I said, I'm in control. It's my choice of whether I let somebody set me up out on the street. This was before I went to the lady with the $210 for the weekly. And I actually had like $250 that night, but I kept 40. And I was putting the 210 to the week. And I was like, I'm in control. I have to keep letting these racist whites and these blacks, sell me out like that and set me up outside. I said, as long as I work and I'm asking for help, I'll have enough where me and my baby will have food and won't have to be on the street. So the racist white man that's trying to listen to everything to set me up for Cynthia and Austin and Joe to be raping my child and get away with it, they were listening to me say that I'm in control. And they had this woman deny me the room. And then they had this male not give me any hours on the shelter. At my job, so they can try to make it seem like I don't have control of my life or my child. So they can just rape my baby and then run off and have everybody setting me up outside. And so another thing that they're doing, they're trying to have me dirty to where when I was sleeping outside, I had to go into these restrooms and do my hair and makeup and just keep presenting myself, as a woman. While they want your hair messed up, your makeup messed up, they want you dirty, they want you smelling, and then they want your clothes dirty, they want to surround you, even while you're asleep, when you fall asleep somewhere, and then they want the police riding around with them trying to hurt you while you're pregnant outside. And so I will tell y'all about a vision that I had about my sisters the night before the woman refused me the hotel room because I was praying to God and I was crying. And I said, Lord, I don't want you to overlook what my two sisters are doing. My sisters, Larissa Jones and Shakina Jones. Shakina Jones is my little sister. She's here. Shakina Jones has been setting me up with the Ku Klux Klan since my white baby daddy was abusing me and I protected myself. Shakina ran up behind Austin Metter trying to help the KKK lie about Austin Metter abusing me and help them lie about my pregnancy. And she was involved with saying that they could retaliate and rape my child for protecting myself. So Shakina has been leaving me outside. So Austin Metter destroyed my entire apartment, kicking holes in the walls, punching holes in the walls, destroying the furniture, and he was abusing me and my son inside of my residence, and I was pregnant. So I had to protect myself after I ran out of my home with my child in my arms, and he kept attacking me in front of a male witness that worked in a restaurant down the street from my home. I went inside of the restaurant and I asked the male to dial 911, and Austin Metter came in there attacking me inside of the restaurant, and I was pregnant. So Shakina was involved with trying to help them cover up that I was pregnant while he was attacking me, and she was allowing them to try to kill the baby in me to try to cover up that. And so my lease had gotten broken because they arrested me pregnant for protecting myself from Austin Metter, and they took my child from the scene and said they all raped my child to death. That was with me at the scene when I was asking the male to call 911, and they said they did this because Austin Metter was white, and they said that I didn't have a right to protect myself because I'm black. And so I was like, okay, Shakina, Shakina is involved with setting me up like this on the street. And I said, I know you try to keep love in my heart to my siblings. I said, but God, I feel like this is tearing me and you apart because you know that Shakina set my baby up to be raped. And you know she tried to set my other baby up to be killed. And you know that Larissa is involved. Larissa is involved with the Bloods gang members that they have involved. They have Cynthia Olvera is in a racist white gang, and Austin Metter is in a racist white gang, and Joseph Olvera is in a racist white gang, and their gang members are who they said they were raping my child with. And so I was like, God, I can't continue to feel like I have love for my sisters. I do not love my sisters. I don't love anybody that will do that to my children. And I said, I know you taught me to love my sisters. I said, but God, I'm going to need for you to have my back with this one. They need to be punished for what they are doing. And so when I went to sleep that night, God had showed me Shakina. Me and Shakina was in the room together, and Shakina was trying to set me up to not be able to stay in her home. Shakina was trying to set me up in this room and run off and make me end up having to be on the streets. And she ended up getting chased in the vision. I don't know who was chasing Shakina, but they were chasing her because of what she did to me. And then we went to Larissa, my older sister that's in Atlanta, Georgia. And when I went to Atlanta, Larissa let them set me up outside in Atlanta. And so Larissa was lying to this white woman in a dream and saying that she said, well, maybe Andrea is a little less pregnant. And then this group of girls just chased Larissa in the vision, in the dream, and they started beating Larissa up. They started pulling her hair. They cornered her. They threw a Bible at her. And I knew when I woke up that God was on my side against my sisters, and he was showing with Larissa that they got Andrea outside where she can't even take a shower, and she was getting beat up when the Holy Spirit was showing it. And so the next day they had the white woman refuse me the weekly hotel because see what Larissa and Shakina are doing is trying to set me up with Austin Metter and his family to be homeless so that they could rape my child and try to kill my baby and me. And so this is what's going on. And then I saw Beyonce and Jay-Z over this period of time that they've been setting me up. I've been seeing Beyonce, so I know Beyonce knows that they setting me up. I believe at this point, Beyonce, she's involved with the operation to cover up people raping my child because there's no reason why people should keep setting a black woman up outside like that. So recently, I've seen Cardi B, Offset involved, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, and I've seen Puff Daddy. These are the recent people that I have seen that are aware that they've been setting me up outside. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Puffy, you rich as fuck. Beyonce, you rich. Jay-Z, you rich. Cardi and Offset, y'all rich. So what's the point of you knowing that I'm in these locations being set up? But then you continuing to let employers set me up, sisters set me up. They said they were raping raping my child. You ain't got to do it for me. Do it for a little boy that they said they were sodomizing. That's who you should have did it for. So at this point, y'all are accomplices. So that's why Christian is not giving me the hours. This is why. The lighting is not that good. But it's because I am pregnant. I have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So Christian is not giving me the hours because he's trying to set me up with all of these celebrities, with my family, and with my white baby daddy. And so they tried to have a black woman fight me inside of the HEB to try to kill the baby. She was trying to stop me from getting donations because what black women are doing in the country is they're trying to stop me from having any money in the country with the KKK so that they could cover up raping my child. I don't even know if my baby's alive. He might be dead. And then so they could try to kill the baby. That's why God said Offset selling Andrea out, because she's pregnant and they trying to wait for the fetus